Welcome to Taxonomy Tuesday, everyone. This is where we do show and tell style, try to help each other identify and appreciate the finds from the week. Uh, it would be good if we could get anyone who might want to share from their computer. If not, we go to the emails, which we have a couple people sent in. Dorothy, Douglas, Dave. Would you like to go, Dorothy?
Sure.
All right, let me all right, can everybody see it?
So I was up at the Crum Tuckerman workshop in the Adirondacks in Newcomb, New York. So this is uh, a lichen, of course, and there are many that have these red apothecia on top. This one has ceridia on the little tall part and ceridia, which are vegetative propagules that help in, asexual reproduction for a lichen. And they're also on the what they call the primary squamules that are down below that this little tall thing is coming out of. And this is the lipstick lichen, Cladonia macilenta. And there was an old fence post by the cabin uh, where I was staying. And so this was all over the top of it. There's other lichens on there too, but um, fun to photograph the red apothecia. The apothecia in lichens is what the fungus component, that's the part that the fungus component is making spores. And so it will only release the spores of the fungus. It's the Crum Tuckerman foray, the Crum workshop part of it are people who are interested in bryophytes or mosses and liverworts. And the Tuckerman part are people that are interested in lichens. They were a total of 66 of us that stayed at the Adirondack Information Center that's run by something called ESF, which is a science part of Syracuse University. So next. So here's another lichen, and you can see on the bottom left, the bumpy parts are growing on the lichen, those bumpy things, and they happen to be a fungus. So this is a Lichenicolous fungus. It's a parasite on the lichen. The lichen is commonly found on conifers in boreal northern areas, and it's called Hypogymnia physoides. So the fungus parasite, that bumpy stuff, is Basidium Hypogymniacola. So
Is this
fancy. That very specific hosts with some of these Lichenicolous fungi.
is this flat lichen? Is this what it's growing on? And it is like did it kill this part down here?
Um, I think it's just so covered up you can't see it. Um, but when you examine it under, I know the photograph doesn't show it, but the these uh, thallus pieces, lobes, would be underneath all this bumpy stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, beautiful. And the last one was too, the lipstick sticks, or that's such a funny name too.
Yep. And so there's lots of things with the red apothecia. The common one is called British soldiers, but
Right.
this one's the lipstick lichen,
Yeah.
the other one. So next is um, there's a huge rock and moss covered and trees rooting around it. Um, and I noticed this gray stuff actually kind of growing on the moss, and it's usually found on the soil. The next picture shows a more close up of it. And this is also a Cladonia, like the lipstick lichen, but it's Cladonia squamosa. So all over the podicia, which in this case are kind of dangling, um, are little tiny squamules. And one thing that you can do to identify this lichen is if you have a good heavy duty ultraviolet light, this one fluoresces a blue white. Cladonia squarosa, sorry. um, and the next one is, I picked up the stick because I noticed this brown poroid crust on it, and the little stick just totally was attached. So I knew right away it had to be Hydnoporia corrugata. So it's called a glue crust. So that little stick lying across it is totally attached to it. It's not coming out of a node or anything, um, but it's glued on.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
So um, sometimes we found these before on northeast forays. There's a forester guy who's George Hungerford, and he just is fantastic and often brings this in. And so this is the first time I ever found it. I'm not sure how many records there are in New Jersey, but probably. Um, and I have it on the posted it on iNaturalist. So anybody who knows about this thing, maybe you can confirm it. um, my username is Fungi Lady. Um, so whether it's still Hypnoporia or something else, that's something I have to look into.
But
Dorothy,
someone,
I think the name is this still the same. Um, I found this on our property. Actually, Karen found it. She showed me, and then I took photos of it, and I have one or two observations on Mushroom Observer. And the one that I found, or the one that we found, it looks like a target on a small tree, like this zoned oval. And
Oh,
yes, there's a stick or a branch from another small tree that was nearby that was just partially engulfed by the thing because it was leaning against it. So you can see why they call it the glue fungus. I'm going to look for my observation. I'll put it in the chat because I have some nice photos.
okay. Next.
oh wait one sec. So
Oh,
what
yep.
it's Hydnoporia, what is there a species name?
Corrugata, as in
Cor,
corrugated cardboard.
got it. Thank you.
Corru.
Great.
Oh, that's a different one from what we found. The one we found, I think, was called diffusa.
Okay, this is corrugata.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah, it
called the
doesn't look
glue
the same.
crust.
I think they're the same. On the Namamico guide, it says diffusa is described from eastern United States, North Carolina, New York, and present in Colombia and Peru. It is an American relative of the European Hydnoporia corrugata.
Oh, nice.
So, um, I guess corrugata's a European name then.
All right, except that that's what iNaturalist agreed with, so.
Mm, okay, interesting. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, that's what I'm seeing, but who knows?
Yeah, we'll look into it. So this is probably a 5-foot boulder. And if you get close, and then next slide shows the rock tripe or Umbilicaria mammulata on it. This is a lichen that has only one attachment to the rock, and it grows very slowly. So we were driving along on a logging road and did stop, but I let the driver know that it's best to collect this thing from a piece that's blown off the ground. So she actually did find some on the ground rather than take it off the rock. This one can be used for a purple dye. You actually break up the bits and put it in ammonia for several months of leaching out of and changing of the pigments in it, but it's not a color fast dye. So that's the problem with it. It's best left on the rock. That's all I have.
What's color fast?
Pardon?
So good.
What does color fast mean?
Oh, when you're dyeing wool with the pigment, and you even do use, in most cases, a mordant, a salt of some kind that causes more of the pigment to attach to the wool fibers. With mordanting, most of the dyes, for instance, like the dyer's polypore, with different mordants, you can get different colors. You could get yellow, gold, kind of brownish, greenish. But the dyed wool keeps its color even in the light.
Huh.
Unfortunately, this lichen, Umbilicaria mammulata, it's very hard to keep it or to get it to be color fast. It will fade in the light, what your dyed pigment. So
Oh, like fast, like the color's fastened? Is that like kind of the idea? Like
well, it's
it's
not
a
fastened. It's
part
not
of
color
it
fast. Yeah, that I
or
suppose
not
is
part of it?
how that word came about. The color
Huh.
is fastened to the um, pigments, and also we're talking about protein fibers. So we're talking about silk and wool. Uh, you can even dye antler material, but cotton is very hard to dye with some of these natural pigments.
Interesting stuff, Dorothy.
Okay, that's all I have.
Cool. Thank you.
It was a
Chris,
great foray, and if Jason comes on next week, um, he will show you another crazy fungus that somebody found, a parasite on moss.
Nice. Everyone
Chris,
bring your parasites.
Chris, it's Doug. I'd like to go after Dorothy because I saw 2 lichens on Serpentine Rock. If you could see my emails.
Let's do it. Let me
And
bring you up.
Dorothy, I could use your help because I'm not too expert on this, and I had trouble figuring out what genus. And I think you might know they're Saxicolous growing on rock lichens. I would.
Well, I always have to use a key most of the time, so I'll try.
Okay. Let Chris bring up the photos. They were kind of neat. They were orange. And here's one here. Let me just
So Xanthocarpia feracissima. And I had trouble discerning whether, and the second species, Chris, I don't know if you can lay them side by side. It's not the best photo in the world. They have this orange pigment, and they're growing on a serpentine, which is, most of you know, is restricted in areas of the eastern U.S., mostly to Baltimore, Philadelphia, Maryland state line, where there's outcrops of serpentinite, where the ocean crust was thrust up millions of years ago to the surface. There's some large serpentine barrens in the northwest coastal area, but the east coast, this is pretty much it. And they are ultramafic rock. They're high in iron and magnesium, and there are a lot of rare plants on them. But I was out on a botany walk, and I just happened to see these orange dots here. And my question is, if the second one, INET came up with a Squamulea salutata. I'm not sure I'm saying it right.
It's subsulata.
Subsolata. They're not in the greatest focus, unfortunately, but the differences had to do with whether the squamules overlapped or how they were attached at the bottom, and whether the apothecia had a thalline ring. And my photographs just aren't good enough for my old iPhone. That's a
Is
that's
this all the lichen here? Like all of this? Or just this?
No, I'm looking at the orange dots. Yeah. Now that other lichen is probably, I didn't think about that.
Because
That,
this one looks like
yeah,
all little massive, and this looks, different, but like still little dots.
Well, those are the apothecia. The feracissima um, is actually known as the sidewalk fire dot lichen. You can find it on concrete. It looks like a black smudge. And then when you zoom in with your camera, you're going to see all these little yellow apothecia. And so, and it grows on cement. I'm not aware of that it could also grow on serpentine, but if I naturalist, it might be something else, but the closest thing I naturalist would give you would be the new name for it, the new genus for it, which I can't read in just looking at the picture. They call it what, Xanthocarpia. It
Xanthocarpia.
used to be Caloplaca ferocissima. But the other one, I have no idea what it is. I'm not a crustose lichen special at all. To identify them properly, you have to slice the apothecia, look at it under compound microscope, and look at the spores and so on. So that's all I can do.
It's still there, Doug?
He's muted.
sorry, I muted myself. I said the pigment is an anthraquinone. It gives it that beautiful orange color, and if it glints in the sun, it really stands out. It's a different pigment than what's in the one you find in coastal rocks. The Candelaria, you can see it right up against the ocean up in New England, with that bright yellow pigment. But this is an orange pigment within the apothecia. So yeah, not sure what that second species is. It's not the best resolution photograph, but it was slightly less overlapping shingle-like and was a little higher off the rock substrate. So maybe if I go out there again, I'll try to get a better photo. But I thought it was interesting, and there are serpentine loving lichens, just like the serpentine loving plants, but I couldn't see online that these were restricted. You know, you could find them, like Dorothy said, on cement or other types of rock substrates. So they're not necessarily only growing on ultramathic serpentine rock. And that's it. I just was hoping to get a little feedback. She did give me feedback on that fire dot one. I think that's right, the Xanthocarpia, but I don't know about the other.
One thing about crustose lichens, and if you're going to study them with the microscope, you also have to be skilled at and walk around with goggles, a hammer, and a chisel, because you got to take some of that substrate with you to do the best dissection of your apothecia. You know, if you tried to just get that off, it would just kind of crumble without some of the rock. So, yeah, I'm not a crustose specialist. I only know the very common ones that are usually on bark.
And they're tightly attached by rhizines, Dorothy. Is that what's going on? The bottom cortex is very tightly oppressed with those little root-like things.
Crustose lichens do not have rhizides. They have no bottom surface.
Okay.
It's totally attached to the rock. So your
Okay.
foliose lichens would have
Okay.
rhizines. They have a lower cortex layer.
That's interesting. Glad to know that. Yeah.
Some rock lichens are actually, especially in or I think the Arctic rocks or whatever, they can be totally in the rock, which is amazing.
You mean
What is that? Would it be endolithic?
You mean they've penetrated into the rock?
Yeah, something like that.
You know, they say how lichens are the earliest invaders of rock that, you know, eventually form soil. So they must have some very special way of interacting with rock surfaces to not only survive, but to somehow break down the rock, you know?
Well, they all the particulate chemicals can be absorbed by lichens because they have no cuticle layer like vascular plants. So they have a lot of different chemicals, and they can produce a lot of different chemicals, because one of the things that the fungus component does for the algae is to prevent damage from ultraviolet light from the sun, and also to protect from drying out. So, you know, you can get a great different abundant chemicals. And so some of these chemicals with freezing and thawing and so on might leach. Yeah, they're definitely pioneer species and are important in breaking down the rock.
Well, I suspect that the pigments in the apothecia are important in absorbing. You know, you really only need to absorb the low range UV light. That's the dangerous one. And I would imagine that those pigments that give the colors can, you know, take electrons out of short wavelength UV, anywhere from 225 to 350 nanometers, something like that. I would imagine they probably make good sunscreens. I wonder if native folks ever used lichen derivatives for sunscreens. It's interesting. I mean, I'm pretty sure anthraquinones do absorb in that wavelength of the ultraviolet spectrum. So that's interesting. I'm glad we had this discussion. I got some research to do now. Thank you, Dorothy.
Oh, well, me too. Okay.
Nice. Well, thank you very much, Doug.
You're welcome. Thank you, Chris, for hosting the meeting.
What else? Does anybody want to share from theirs, or if Dave is ready, or is it too early?
No, I can go. Jeopardy's not on tonight. There's a basketball game.
Let me, oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Found this last Thursday on a mossy log. I don't know what kind of wood, possibly hemlock. A lot of hemlock in the area. So I think this is a Flammulaster, but not Flammulaster Agaricales, which is probably the most common Flammulaster. I think I also may have run across one source that might put this species into Pheo. What is it? Pheo marasmus, right? Which some authors treat as a synonym of Flammulaster, at least some of the species. So why do I think it's Flammulaster? If you can zoom in on one of these photos, um, I'll show you a trait that I associate with Flammulaster. On the one, here and there, you can see these little triangles that are hanging off the margin of the cap. So on the one in the upper right, you can see a few of the triangles, and in the one in the middle of the photo, you can see a few of the triangles. They're very small. The photo is not the best. I think one of the other photos, you might be able to see them a little better. But I think I came up with, I didn't propose the species name, I should have. I think it's mericanus or something like that, that I think might be this species. But at any rate, oh, there you can see the little triangles, and also that the whole fruit body is covered with these scales. That's another. At least some of the Flammulaster species are like that. So I preserved it. I'm hoping that maybe eventually I'll get it sequenced. See if you can zoom in on this one. Maybe you can see the triangles on this photo. It's
Yeah,
an
around the back
interesting,
edge there.
yeah, the back edge. You can see a few of them. Yeah. So I think this. So I should have proposed the species name. I meant to, and then I forgot. I think it's Mericanus or something similar to that, because I did find some references. I don't know if I've got any spore. I think I did get spores from these. And I think they're bean shaped, small bean shaped. I think I probably posted a photo of the spores. Yeah, there we are. They're kind of small and bean shaped. Ellipsoid to bean shaped, meaning they're just a little bit asymmetric. Pretty interesting species, whatever it is. I mean, that's what I think it is, but it's not something that I think I found before.
Were they growing right out of that moss?
Yeah, well, it was a mossy log, so they're probably growing on wood.
There we
You
go.
can
Okay.
see where
That's
they're
cool.
attached to the little piece of wood,
Oh, okay. I
because
wasn't
those were
sure.
harvested. Those two that are in the left, they're attached to that little piece of wood, and but this was the same log, I believe. Oh, maybe it wasn't. I may have taken it to a different log where the light was better. But basically, this is the sort of habitat where they were growing. It was they were on a mossy log. I went for a walk. I was hoping to find Gallerana marginata because one of our local club members asked me if I could find some and bring it to last week's meeting. And I looked and looked and looked, and last Thursday was the only day in the last 5 weeks that I did not find Gallerina marginata. I was out in the woods today and I saw like 3 or 4 fruitings of it. But anyway, I found this. And I think maybe the next thing that I have coming up, so I found 2 things. I went to the Falls Trail in Ricketts Glen. I found 2 things on the trail. I found some other things on some grass. I found this also growing inside a decayed, very large old beech log. So it's growing like on the debris that was partially filling the hole in the log. So this is a
A
Conocybe.
little beachy
I
fruit
don't know
there.
excuse me.
The little I don't know. Is that a nut that a beach makes? Yeah, like the little
Oh,
thing.
I think that is a beech nut back there.
Then
And
you
I'm
got
also over there in the lower right. I think
some
that might be a
leaves.
beech nut. Yeah. So probably some squirrels, are storing them in there. There's a lot of beech on this trail, beech, birch, hemlock. So I tried, this photo was I think I allowed the sunlight to fall on it. The other photo is a little better. So this one is after it's harvested. And so Conocybe, as you might uh, figure from the name, a lot of times it's got a cone-shaped cap. Um, but another, but there's other things that have cone-shaped caps as well. So what distinguishes Conocybe morphologically? Well, a lot of times they're striate like this one, but also you'll have like your Copernellus, right? Those are striate. But Copernellus, the gills turn pretty dark, like from the black spores. These Conocybe mushrooms, the gills are usually kind of a cinnamon color, and that's the color of the spore print as well. And then if you can look at some spores, which I did, I got a few spores to fall from this. See the sort of cinnamon colored gills, yellowish, orangish. Um, and these are marginate too. They have the darkened edges. So I would say that beyond saying that this is in the Conocybe tenera group, I would not venture a species name. These spores are pretty big. They're like 11 to 15, I believe, by I think 7 to 8. I think I probably put into the observation my dimension estimates. So one mushroom. There were 2 mushrooms I found. I walked a mile and I found 2 mushrooms. I found that Flammulaster and I found this thing. So 2 interesting mushrooms though. I mean, the only things I found, but they're pretty interesting. Um, because both species are certainly something I can't just put a name on. But I think I've got the genus right on both of them. So does it say spore dimensions? Yeah, 11 to 14 by 7 to 8. Okay. I think the 14 is a little bit on estimate is a little bit on the low side so it might be like 14.5. So, and the germ pores are very big. So you look back at the spores and see if we can zoom in on one. I'll show you what I mean by the big germ pore. And I think I may have proposed a species name for this because I think there's a species on Mushroom Expert that fits this pretty well. So if it's possible to zoom on this, it might not zoom very well because it's cropped. The cropped photos, that's not bad. So you can see on some of them, there's like one end that's flat. That's the germ pore. Look at the one that's just a little bit beyond the end of the arrow, and just above the end of the arrow. Right. Look at that big germ pore. That's probably two microns wide. So that's a trait to note. Um, the spore print was cinnamon brown. My microscope I used to shoot this picture through, it doesn't record color very well. So the spores were actually a more vividly cinnamon brown looking through the scope. But Interesting species. I dried it out. I put the cap onto a microscope slide for like an hour, and I got enough spores to drop that I was able to get these pictures of the spores. And then I immediately put it into the dryer, the dehydrator. So I dehydrated this. This is a pretty interesting species, I would think. I took a bunch of spore photos just to see if there would be any variability in different parts of the spore drop, but it looks like the spores are all pretty much the same. So cool little mushroom, a little delicate little thing.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah, it was a good one. Now, this is really interesting. I have no idea what the heck this is. So what's the word? Secotoid. I I keep forgetting how to say this. It might be in the notes here. Secotioid. So this appears to be a secotioid fruit body. So what does that mean? Well, it's not a normal fruit body. It's not going to expand. It's not the gills are not going to be exposed. So when I section it though, you can see that there's an interior that looks kind of like gill. And in fact, I also sort of poked around on this material that's inside the cap. And it is sort of like gill-like. So you can see here, it's like these gills sort of made out of clay or something. Um, they're kind of rigid and brittle. They break apart. Um, but this is clearly not something that's going to expand and have normal gills. So there's a word secotioid used to describe fungi fruit body that is not going to expand. And there are some species that's the normal way they look. Now, so what the heck is this thing? I don't know. It was on a lawn, but it wasn't. We didn't find it growing from the lawn, and somebody had kicked it over or something. So presumably, it was growing on the lawn. It was in an area that gets a lot of traffic, foot traffic. So somebody had probably kicked it over. So I looked, I tried to do a smash mount on some of this interior gill-like stuff. And I didn't find very much. I found a few what appears to be spores. Um, but I don't know. I had mushrooms in my plastic container, but these all look kind of the same too. So that's a good sign. So, um, so I think these spores probably are from this fruit body. I have no idea what it is. I found this cystidium looking thing on this gill-like material. I only found the one though. Oh, I guess I didn't only find the one. These look like a few more right here. This little group. It looks like that they're probably the same kind of thing. So, boy, I don't know what this is. If anybody has an idea.
Well, that's probably a basidia right there.
That's a basidium there. Yeah. Yeah, you can see the stegmata on it. Oh, okay, and there's a few more of those. What what a, what are either like cystidia or terminal elements or something? I don't know what to say about this thing.
You don't think it
It's
was gonna go any further, huh?
I don't think so. No, it doesn't look to me like it was going to open up, and the inside doesn't. It doesn't look like actual. It looks like plates that want to be gills, but they aren't ever going to be gills.
It's
And you
weird.
can
It's
see it's closed up inside. So I
like you
think
could.
this is a secotioid fruit body of who knows what. I don't know. I dried it out. I'll try to send it in for sequencing. I found it a little bit prior, a couple of days prior to the Myco Blitz, or else I would have just sent it in with with stuff I'm going to submit to the MycoBlitz, which is going on right now, you can send unlimited number of samples to Steve Russell for, he wants $3 each for each sample, which is a really good bargain. So I've convinced our local club to fund, maybe 50 or 60 submissions. So I've been out looking for things, and maybe I'll put this in anyway, even though it was found prior to the beginning of the MycoBlitz. I think it looks interesting enough that I think Steve would just take it and try to sequence it.
For
So I'll
sure.
send a little sample. I'll send a little sample in.
Very cool.
Yeah, pretty interesting. I really don't know what to say about it.
Yeah, the only other thing I've ever even heard of that was like this was Adam Rockefeller was out in Australia with a guy, and there's some psilocybe that grows like that.
Oh
It
yeah,
just
yes,
it never
yes. A
opens.
psilocybe that looks like this. Yes, and Australia seems to have a fair number of fungal species that produce secotioid fruit bodies. Yes, there's a psilocybe. I
That's
forget the name of it.
crazy. What a weird thing.
So this was found on. It was on a lawn. We didn't know. We don't know if it was growing on the lawn because it was just lying there. And there were shaggy manes growing on the lawn. Coprinus comatus, and some Lacrimaria, but these don't look anything like Lacrimaria. And what else was there? Some Foliotas, Sopholiota terrestris, I believe, which was actually kind of a cool thing to find. So I think this is a species of Entocybe or Entocybe. I'm not sure how to say it. This was under mature Scots pine. So there's this place less than 2 miles from where I live. It's a planted stand of Scots pine. They're mature trees, and lots of really interesting mushrooms grow there. So I didn't know what this was, or I had no idea what it was. I was just going to post it as Agaricales, but I did take one of the fruit bodies and put it out for a spore drop, and I got spores. And so that's why I think this is Entocybe or Entocybe. I guess Entocybe is probably the way most people would say it. So that's coming when we get to
Heavily
a photo of
notched.
the spores. Yeah, yeah. Look, yeah, they're really, really deeply notched, but you can see on the lower left that they are attached.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a very, very thin attachment. So I don't know. Some people use the word sinuate for that sort of attachment, but then you look for other people use the word sinuate for seemingly a different kind of attachment. So here's the spores. These spores are vaguely angular, especially when positioned a certain way. And also, some of the spores are positioned in such a way that you can see one end is, or one side is flat. There's like a flattened side. So if you can zoom in on this one, it's cropped, so it's not going to zoom really all that well, but I guess, oh, that's not too bad. So you can see where some of them have like a flat side, and also they are vaguely angular. Look at some of them you can see better than others, are vaguely angular. So they're not, the perimeter is not really smooth. It's like these sort of soft angles. So that is why I have proposed Entocybe, because that's a feature of that. And also the spore print was pigmented. It wasn't white. It was slightly pigmented like an Entoloma. So Entocybe is in the Entolomataceae family. So I think that's what I've got here. It's just another thing that I have preserved. I preserved a sample. I'm going to hope to try to get it sequenced eventually. Um, Pretty interesting. These were growing like in needle litter under Scots pine, mature Scots pine. So there's the Michael Blitz voucher slip. And this one I found after the beginning of Michael Blitz. So this one's going in. I'm definitely sending a sample of this in. And hopefully we have a successful sequencing.
What's he got there? Oh,
Yeah, so this is what we used to call Cortinarius semi-sanguineus, but the gills are a little bit darker than the usual, what we used to call semi-sanguineus, which is now considered to be a European species. And we have several species in North America that have the red gills and the yellow, brownish yellowish cap surface. These have a nice umbo. They're pretty good size too. These are pretty good size mushrooms. And so I think this is probably Cortinarius tinctorum. That's one of the new names that's now used in place of semi-sanguineus. But there's a few other possibilities as well. There's like two other possibilities of documented species that the Quebec people, I believe, have published these names, like tinctorum. So this is a pretty common species in this under the same area as the last one, under the Scots pine, usually in mossy areas and usually near the perimeter of the stand.
yeah. When I
And I
find
don't know.
these here, they're always just in the sand.
Yeah, that in the pine barrens, you get them in the sand, right? I've seen that, but I don't know if it's the same species. It might be. This was also collected after the Michael Blitz had begun, so that I'm going to send in a sample. In fact, I'm going to send two samples. I found some smaller ones also, and I'm going to send in both. So there's the Michael Blitz voucher slip, field slip. By the way, it's I take the photo with the slip, nothing's filled out, and but it's all the slip's all filled out before I send it in, and there is an INAT observation also, which is written onto the slip. So I've been putting all my observations on INAT, and then I import to Mushroom Observer. Um, I still like Mushroom Observer better for a couple of reasons. One of which is I think it's easier to browse the photos, as you've been doing here, just sort of using the little arrow to just advance through the photos, which is kind of nice. And the other thing is too that I can I can put this as promising um, Dermocybe or Cortinarius section Dermocybe. I'm not really sure which is. Yeah, I've got Cortinarius section Dermocybe. The Dermocybes are the Cortinarius mushrooms with the colorful gills, red gills, orange gills, sort of bright mustard yellow gills. Um, anyway, um, I can put this as the main identification proposal, but I can also put a second proposal on as at lower or equal confidence. And I think I probably did propose this as Cortinarius tinctorum. Did I do that? I should have. If I didn't, then I should have. And it's not that important, but yeah, below the photos, you'll see the proposals down below
That's
comments.
That's as scroll as my scroll will scroll.
Oh, okay. So that's just because you're looking at images here. Oh, yeah, because I don't see any of the information here of the proposals or anything. Oh, I may have sent a link to the image. I'm sorry. I should have sent a link to the observation. But there's comments. There's nothing below the comments. Oh,
No, that's
are you logged into MO?
no, I don't have ammo.
Oh, see, it's not gonna show you a lot of the things unless you log in. Yeah, that's what's going on here. It won't show you the proposals and so, but that's okay. I can just tell you that I think the best proposal for this might be Cortinarius tinctorum, but there are a few other new names. There's like one or two other new names for the ones with the red gills, but not the red cap surface. It's a dyer's mushroom, I believe. I know semisanguineous was used by dyers. Well, what was called semisanguineous, and I'm not sure if this is the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a variant, but the one I found this past weekend down at Bass River, the gills were like red, red. They
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. These are not quite as vivid. Also, the photo doesn't quite capture, well, especially in this photo, because the photo with the field slip is never all that good, really.
but
The other photos are a little bit better.
but
But
these
yeah, but
are
it's still,
open a bit, so I think they get less of that red when they start dropping spores. They start turning that more
oh, good point. Yes,
rusty,
yes, good point. Because the spores are more brown.
right?
The spores are not really red. Yeah, you're right. And these are definitely mature. So these gills are probably darker than they were when these mushrooms are younger. That's a very good point. Thank you.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're nice to find. I was in the same spot today, and I found other things today, which I haven't created posts for yet. But it's only like 2 miles from my house, so I can go there. It's not a very long walk either. You walk about 100 yards or so across a field. So it's at the edge of the outfield of a baseball field, where it intersects this stand of Scott's pine. It's a very good place to look for mushrooms, especially in the fall.
Cool. Thank you, Dave.
Oh, you're welcome.
Let's see here. Does anybody have anything they'd like to share from their computer? What's this? Oh, that Tristan put that psilocybe thing in how do I share that?
Oh, I put something in the chat now as well. That Hydnoporia thing. Oh, there's the psilocybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Endemic to New Zealand, native forest, rotting wood, woody debris, pouch-like.
See if there's a photo of this thing sectioned. They should put a photo of it sectioned, but I guess maybe they didn't.
Oh,
Oh,
look at that.
that's a horizontal section, it looks like.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
now I'm wondering, did you cut yours the wrong way?
Well, I cut mine a different way.
Right.
If I cut it horizontally, it would look a little more like this, maybe. That's a pretty
Crazy.
interesting view.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, honestly, with the stipe still running through it that way.
Well, on my thing, the stipe ran all the way up through the cap as well, all the way to the apex of the cap. Interesting.
Yeah, that's a bizarre thing. But this, like in this one, is kind of like
There,
yours with that.
there's one that's sectioned vertically. Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks kind of like mine. Yep.
that the where the pelleus just attaches to the stipe, and it's just it doesn't look like it wants to open.
Right. This is not going to open up. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that thing that I showed is is the similar situation.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. I mean, why does this happen? It's kind of strange.
I think in the video I was watching, Alan Rockefeller, I think he said something about like he was just assuming that like snails will eat the mushroom and kind of disperse the spores that way.
Oh,
That makes sense.
yeah, you would think they would have to have some alternative solution to that dispersal and all.
So I don't know. As per the discussion a little while ago, this might be the same species that Dorothy had mentioned, even though there's a different species name used here, so they might be synonyms. But do you see this stick that's stuck to it? That was actually a branch from a tree, and I guess I broke the branch off in two different directions, but the part is it's still stuck to this thing. And then this was gone. All of a sudden, this was gone. It was there for like a year, and then it was gone. It's on this little tree.
It's not like ABC gum someone put up there. That is too
Looks like it.
funny. Yeah, that
There would be a
yours
lot of
is,
gum though. This was not totally small. This was, the height of this thing was probably, a few inches,
yeah,
like
yours
three
is
inches, let's
very
say.
interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got the ID right. I didn't know what it was. Um, I eventually ran across something else, maybe somebody else's observation or something that that reminded me of this, and so then I looked into it, and it
It's
seemed to be.
oddly zonate, like, yeah, and you say that it went away
Yeah, just after one winter, it wasn't there anymore. I
because it
don't
looks
think
like
it's there.
almost
I
like
looked
something that
for it.
would
Oh
that
God,
they were like multiple years or something, but maybe that's just like through whatever its growing season. It
maybe
maybe
it,
it
it
was
also might be that
drier, wetter.
this small tree may have died also and fell over, and I may have just not found it. I should go up. I looked for it a few times. It's right, there's a path we have on our property, and it was pretty close to the path, a few feet off the path, maybe 10 or 15 feet off the path, but I couldn't find it. I looked a few times, I couldn't find it. It was there for a long time, the better part of a year, I guess.
It's cool looking.
Yeah, I should have got a sample of it. I didn't.
So are these polypores?
Um, God, I don't.
I mean,
I don't think this
I'm not
has
like,
pores, actually.
I'm not seeing
There-
pores.
Well, mine has pores, and but they're not in the they're in the Hymenochaetaceae or different family, not the Polyporaceae.
Hmm.
I think I
Unless
have this
unless
ID
the
right.
thing that had pores with mine was some kind of Phalinus. Yeah, this doesn't look like it has pores.
But it's funny that the genus name is Hydnoporia. I mean, that
Right.
sounds like it should have pores. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, glue fungus certainly would be a good name for this thing, whatever it is.
That is cool. Does anybody have anything to share from their computer? Maybe I have, I found this at Bass River this weekend. It's a Hypholoma lateritium. And I've been looking a lot at these because of the gills fluoresce with the black light. And these little tiny ones, whatever that stuff is fluorescing, because it usually goes down the stipe a little tiny bit on a mature one. But at this size, the entire stipe fluoresces. I don't
Well,
have any pictures of it doing that, because they're at the 4A. They weren't coming out good in the light. But I still haven't figured out what those structures at fluoresce are yet. I can't seem to section off just one of them.
hmm.
But if you find, and I would assume that the fasciculari probably very similar. Like at that size, the whole thing probably fluoresces under the black light. Probably the same. And then it seems to go away up the stipe as they get more mature
But the
until
gills maintain it.
well, it's not even the whole gill. It's the just the very margin of the gill, and then down the stipe, just the tiniest little bit usually has it'll fluoresce on a more mature one.
Neat.
But those I just like they're just they were growing the big one was growing I don't know, maybe a foot or two away, and these were directly on the stump. And then I took out my light and I was like, oh, that's probably what they are. They're probably the same thing. There's just a new batch of them.
So this is growing on hardwood.
Yeah, I believe so.
Hmm.
There's down there in Bass River, it seemed to be pines and oaks not a ton of other stuff. But I just thought that was cool at that stage. They're just like the whole thing completely fluoresces, not just the gills or anything. Oh wow. What does Hunter have here?
Oh, just those pegs on the bottom of the basil leaf. And there was some motion in one of them, like it looked like something was hatching, or another insect was like inside one. It's not very clear, but also when I focused in, it looked like there was sort of this honeycomb pattern over the like outer layer of these eggs. Don't they look like little bees?
I mean, when everything, when stuff is that little,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know how those little like solitary bees do their
Yeah.
thing. But I know there's a ton of cool pictures out there of like all different like moth and butterfly eggs and stuff. And they have like weird little netted patterns to them a lot.
Mm-hmm. I should put it on iNaturalist or something.
It's funny because I just never really get anything growing on my basil like that. Like I don't know, it's got such a strong smell and everything else. It doesn't seem like the bugs really want to like bother with it. The only ones that like they'll leave like bugs that leave like those like foamy type of egg cases, they'll leave stuff on basil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never have had, like predators on my basil, but well, that's not really true, but yeah, it's just one leaf. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. And
Yeah,
it's
that's
late,
cool.
old too. So I put it back outside. I hope, I don't know, hope they'll be okay.
I mean, some bugs are particular, they will only lay eggs on certain types of plants. So I wonder if that could actually help with identification, if there is anything that really only seeks out basil leaves.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'll do a little research. Uh,
Yeah, I get the swallowtails on my cilantro and my fennel.
Hmm. Those are caterpillars, or even caterpillars, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They will particularly go to those plants, and you can tell what they look like when they're little, and then when your entire plant is missing, you usually know it's a caterpillar.
yeah.
They will eat everything right down to the ground.
In my case, it's earwigs. They eat everything.
Oh, not my favorite. Those are not my favorite bug at all. That's like, I'm pretty bug tolerant, but that is on my list. They are on my list. Stay away. Well, thanks.
Yeah. Does anybody else have some stuff to share?
I found the species name of that thing that I think is a Flammulaster. I think it's Flammulaster mericanus.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah. And why? I mean, it looks like it for sure.
Yeah, it's more common out west, it seems, like on the west coast, California and
Yeah.
Washington. So pretty good find actually, if that's what it is. Well, even if it isn't, it's something unusual.
I mean, it almost looked like oh, some kind of like, I don't know, like a little Oleota or something. It's so scaly.
Yeah, yeah. Now some young guy at the NAMA foray. Yes, I believe. Yeah, it was NAMA. Um, I thought that I had found Foliota granulosa, or it might be granulosum. I forget. I just never remember these endings. Um, and he just chimed in immediately. He said, "There's that does not exist." Yes, I guess Foliota granulosum has been put into a different genus, I guess, is what he really means. And
Oh,
I think it may have been put into Flammulaster. But it's very, very easy to confuse Flammulaster erinaceus and Foliota granulosum, assuming there is such a thing as Foliota granulosum or granulosa. Um, and the differences are that the Flammulaster, it's more, the scales are sort of larger, and it's got the triangular appendiculate flaps along the margin, and the Foliota doesn't have that. But it wouldn't surprise me a whole lot if those are actually the same species. If somebody figures out that they're the same species.
Yeah.
This one's a
yeah,
little
because
different.
this even has like the little like spots like that where I find foliotas that like sometimes as they age, they get that kind of look to their gill where they're like, I don't know, like spotty and
Yeah,
messed up. But you're right. I don't think the foliotas get any of that.
this could be a Foliota. It wouldn't, if this turns out, if I get this sequence and it turns out to be a Foliota, I'm not going to be completely surprised. I'm, to me, it looks like what it matches my idea of a Flammulaster. Because there's another Flammulaster I find also on my property. I don't even know what it is. I called it Flammulaster carpophilus, and it was sequenced by Steve Russell, and he confirmed Flammulaster by ITS. And I think he called it Flammulaster carpophilus PA01 or something. So it might be, it might be a novel species actually, but it also has the little flaps.
Yeah, that's a good tell.
That's what I think. You
Yeah.
know, that's my concept is that. Now, is that actually true? I don't know. That's the kind of thing that a lot of sequencing and good collections and good documentation is going to hopefully help us solve eventually.
How about it? Bianca's usually has stuff.
I would, but I'm driving.
All right, you're out. That's
Got a
dangerous.
couple I could
I
use some help with.
Let's
Oh
do it.
yes, go
Yay.
for it.
All right, let me share. Here we go. Share. All right, here we go. Get this thing out of the whoops. Get that out of the way. This one I found along the trail. These were growing singly. There weren't very many of them. And the top has got I don't know if those are called fibrils or whatever, but they're not too large. And then the underside. I think we're just heading in. When I picked this, we were just heading into a dry spell, and I think things are starting to desiccate a little bit. It's funny, this larger one, the stipe is very narrow, and then it gets rather broad, and then I think it starts to dry out. I don't know if that maybe indicates a rain spell or something, but and I do have some spore pictures also.
Was this white spored?
Yeah, it was a very weak spore drop, but I would say it was definitely whitish.
Yeah. My guess is this might be something in the Hygrophoracea, like a wax cap type thing. There's a wax cap that looks something like this, a Hygrophorus. I'm going to try to find the name.
And on both of them, that the very enrolled margin, even on the larger one that's expanded.
Yeah, again, I think it may be an indication of this kind of dry spell that we were heading into, or maybe that is its natural habit. It's hard to say, but yeah, it's very rolled in there.
Are those gills splitting?
I don't think so, to tell you the truth. I think I think they're kind of stuck together, maybe
Yeah.
in some places. Um, so, and the spores, I think, were about 7 by 5, roughly speaking, whitish, or probably a white spore print. I got just a very light spore drop on the slide.
Guttural is fairly like pronounced as well.
Yeah, yeah. And to me, there's a fairly significant variation in the size, making it a little difficult to, when you're trying to pick some samples to measure, which ones do you pick? When there's some that are really rather large, and long, and others, and so I still only measured about 10 of them and tried to get a representative sample, but just to get a ballpark for what the size was. But um, anyway, so you say hygrophorus or hygrophorus maybe?
I just looked up what I was thinking, and I think it's wrong. But let me look again.
Mm,
I that would be my guess, but I don't know.
okay.
I'm not real confident about that guess.
How about Hygrophorus poetarum?
Oh,
Maybe
Poetarum. I don't know if I know that one.
it's similar looking. The spores don't seem to have those oil drops though. Because yours do, right?
pretty. Yeah, I guess that's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
What,
The
what was what was that species name? Politarum?
poetarum. Yeah.
With a P.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh,
Poetarum.
Politarum. Okay.
Well, it's actually a late spring, so maybe
Yeah,
not.
yeah, maybe. All right.
But it does kind of look like it. I'm just going through some waxy caps and
Uh, okay. Yeah, these were in the trail, like practically right in the trail. I think some people had stepped on them. So in some cases, so seemed to like that environment. All right.
and you
Well,
were just were in New Jersey or yeah.
no, I'm sorry. This is in Maryland. This is sort of northern Baltimore County, getting close to the Pennsylvania border between Maryland, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yeah. Mm.
Well, I've got another one, which I'd like to also look at. Um, where did I? Oh, yeah, I found, okay.
Hmm.
This one growing out of the leaf litter. And I'm looking at this.
Hmm.
Absolutely. That's my only underside shot. I do have some spore pictures. Sort of tear-shaped,
Oh, yeah.
paisley-shaped, seed-shaped
color?
sort of things. White.
Yeah, it looks like something in the Gymnopus Strophylos group.
Okay, so it's something like that. Okay, Gymnopus.
I think
Okay.
so. The gills are a
Yeah.
little bit widely spaced, though, for Gymnopus
Oh,
Strophylos.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
The spores look right for
Yeah,
that.
okay. Yeah.
I say that. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. It's like just that bit stripe there out at the
Yeah.
edge. And
Yeah, that's a little unusual for Gymnopus Strophylos, I think.
Right.
Let me look on Michael Quebec.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that you mention it, I think I have seen those Gymnopus spores in that sort of tear shaped. Let's see. Okay. Right, well, maybe I will. Let's see if I had any others that I was wondering about. This one I found. I think this is Candolia myces. Growing near it was a big pile of discarded trees and fallen branches that had been pushed off of the trail and had been sitting there for a while, and this was growing all around it. Um, and let me get this different one. Trying to see.
Yeah, I think this is right.
Okay. Yeah.
some good pictures for being such a small things.
Yeah. Oh, you talking about the spore pictures there, or which
No,
oh, the,
you got a dime sitting next to these
oh,
things.
yes.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they're pretty small.
Right. But okay. That's kind of what I thought on this one here.
And this used to be Satharella or no?
Yeah, it used to be Satharella candelianus or Candeliana, and now it's Candelamyces candelianus.
Okay.
Yeah, I took a picture of these today. I think the spores look the same, and yeah,
Do the
cool.
Yeah,
prints will be
I
dark on
think
these?
these. Oh,
Yeah,
Excuse
I'm
me?
sorry.
they're black.
All right.
Yeah. I think nearly black, I think is what
Nearly black. Spore print nearly black. Right. If you
yeah.
take it on black, you'll see a little bit of contrast.
Yeah.
A little like purplish contrast, probably. I think that the gills have a lot of cystidia on them. So
Oh,
if you
did
smash
I?
out some gill, I think you find a lot
No.
of cystidia. I
Let's
think I
see.
just have to review that.
No,
I
this
might
one,
try that.
there was one that I did get some interesting micro pictures on for the yeah, this lacrimaria, which I'm pretty sure this was also super dark spore print. I think I got some good micro pictures on this one.
Yeah,
Love
no,
them.
these guys have a print that's pretty much black.
Yeah,
They got great
yeah,
spores.
yeah.
Yeah, they have really cool spores. Yep.
There's some more of that.
Oh, there you go. Get that
This is
marking shot.
Oh, look at
under
that. Nice.
under the I forget, somewhere around 30 power, maybe something like that. And then
Oh,
oh yeah,
there
we
you
got
go.
yeah, this is one of my
Oh
first shot
wow,
really of a basidium that's actually has spores on it. So
amazing.
and oh thanks. Yeah, this is yeah, and these they have like a snout on the spores there. You can kind of see there. And
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see how rough these ones are.
yeah, exactly. Is there any there's no size. But and here, I'm not sure, it looked pretty notable, so I captured, although I didn't really measure anything here, but I thought it was I suppose these are maybe Chyloscystidia?
Those look
Or,
like Chyloscystidia.
okay, it should be. I tried to get the gill edge.
Yeah,
Was this the
I gotta
candle?
go back
Was
to
this the
cutting.
was this the Lacrimaria
Yes.
or the Candlomyces?
No, this is the Lacrimaria, Lacrymaria.
Yeah, Lacrimaria. Right. Okay. Nice.
So, yeah, I was I've been pretty good with the spore shots, but so I finally expanding into some other structural things on the I think I'm going to stop sharing at this point. But thanks for the advice on those unknowns there. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bianca's got some stuff now.
Is she not driving?
I'm done driving for now. So I have, this is actually, so I'm going to start with the more interesting one, just in case there are other people that that would like to share. This is, don't mind, hopefully nobody's arachnophobic. Well, this is technically not a spider, it's an arachnid, it's a huntsman spider, basically, but it was chilling next to this really cool, it almost looked like tiny dots of caviar, red and black, next to each other.
Is that wasp nest one?
Wasp nest? I don't know.
I I
I'll,
I
I'll show another
I think
picture.
that might be that wasp nest
Here's another.
fungus. No.
It actually was growing on a conifer, but on the inside under the bark, where the bark had peeled off. I've
Looks
never
like
seen anything
slime
like it.
mold.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
slime
Yes, I'm
mold
a
for sure.
trichia, hemitrichia, something like that, maybe.
See if I have another one. Oops. Trying to find one that was better. This might be better. There you go. You can see them, the stalks.
Yeah.
And I've never seen it in two different stages at the same time, being so vibrant, different colors.
Wonder which one's the mature one. The dark ones? Or the
Good
dark one's
question.
new,
The dark ones look smaller.
right?
Anyway, all right.
They're a cool color.
Right? And I think I had a close-up one. Is this a close? Yeah, this is a closer one.
Hmm.
All right. So that's one. Did we get Dave, did you say a name for it?
I'm looking at some stuff now. I thought maybe trichia or hemitrichia.
Hemitrichia. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking on Michael Quebec now. They have some trichias. I think they have some hemitrichias also. Let me see. Here's trichia. No, it's not that one. Oh, there's a whole bunch of trichias. Holy cow. Yeah, there's like a dozen of them.
This is the first time I actually have found this guy.
Pretty.
Right? Very vibrant yellow. Let me
Oh,
get the
that's
other shot.
nice.
Thank you. Then here is the
Wow.
So probably humidicutus.
This guy's a
Marginata.
Dermocybe.
Yeah, humidicutus marginata variety concolor.
It's new for me. Here's the top. It actually was very unique. It actually had this
Huh.
divot.
Probably insect damage.
It was a little bit covered. Let me see. And there was a younger one, or I think it was a younger one growing next to it. Does this look like it's the same? Because it has the vibrant yellow gills also.
Hmm.
Here, I'll show you the.
Was it in really dry weather? Because it looks like maybe
This
it
is
dried out and faded. Hmm.
Hmm.
Oh, that's interesting. Hmm.
That's the smaller one, which I believe is the younger one, and lightly faded, like you saw. And this is the older one. The stipe was actually not cylindrical, but like flattened one way. So tubular, but like flattened.
Compressed.
Oblong,
Compressed,
compressed,
they usually call it.
or
Yeah.
compressed. Okay. So it is a tube inside, but it has one way is more flat than the other, compressed. Okay.
When these are in good condition, are they that bright yellow all over? Like even the cat?
Oh, I can share more than one at the same time. Gosh, that's so much easier.
Oh wow, look at that. Where'd you find that?
This is our favorite park, the one I've been frequenting recently, Shark River.
No kidding.
Yeah. Michael at Quebec says humidicutus marginata often has a compressed stipe.
Okay. Hypogymnia. Cool.
I'm going to put a link in.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm on the page now. I may as well just paste it right in.
Oh, and I finally found another one, a fresher sample of the one that had that very pungent smell that I brought to our attention before. Oh, now that I can share multiples, this is going to be so much easier. Gosh. All right, so this is the pore surface. It was growing on this stump that's next to it. I think it's a conifer. And then, so this is the top of it. But the smell was, and you can see there's an older one that's growing right by it. And yeah, let me get to the third.
Hmm.
So this is looking directly towards the margin. So you can see both. And the smell of this guy was just like a cleaning product gone wild. Just so potent.
Hmm.
I remember finding a much older one. It kind of looked like it was way past gone, but this looks pretty fresh, but still that same smell. Really strong.
No, I gotta get me that polypore book.
No ideas?
Hmm. I got nothing on polypores.
Yeah. So I
It
don't want to
has
smelly
pores,
one.
right? It has pores, right? They're just really
Oh yeah,
small.
you're looking at it. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
pore surface. Very, very small. Not unidentifiable, like it's still visible, but it's very tiny.
Well, I know in all the books they usually like, very deliberate about, or pores very round or slightly oval or, some other descriptor.
Okay, so I need to take better pictures. I didn't know
Yeah, and then
I had
like,
that.
the other things with polypores, like the how many pores per millimeter is
Mhm.
usually a like a pretty good one once you start like looking for stuff.
Okay, I
But
got you.
that first picture you had there with the like, it does look like secondary growth. So like that's usually a
Um,
thing too, like whether it's around 1 year or multiple years.
I also just wanted to share a very pretty Russula. I've never seen one very almost like a nebula color, purpley.
Very
Nebula.
pretty.
That's a good description.
I think that's Russula modesta.
Oh,
Yeah, it's got like a gray outer part of the cap, and the middle is kind of yellow.
I don't think
Usually,
it is Modesta. Modesta is never purple.
um, I'm not seeing purple.
oh, it
Uh,
it
this
was
is, this is
purple.
very
It was
purple.
a violet color, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
in the
might.
middle. Oh, okay. That still looks like modesta to me.
Modesta is olive gray. I don't think it's violet or purple.
So fluorescence or oh,
No forking.
Yeah. We're just right up against the state.
Yeah, well, I mean, all of them have that, or most of them. There's another species that looks like Modesta. I already forget its name. I came across this thing on the Mo. There was a discussion actually about it. But I see a lot of, kind of purplish lavender or whatever color in there. I don't think this is the color of Modesta. In my experience, Modesta is this steely grayish green, olivaceous gray, and it has a bloom on it when it's young.
Hmm. This was fresh. It absolutely. This is not a dry sample.
Yeah, it looks fresh. It's just kind of beaten up and eaten.
Yeah, a little bit chewed on.
Yeah, squirrels or slugs, if there's still slugs around.
Oh, they're
Oh,
around.
yeah. Yeah, they're around.
So then here is the last one. Hold on, let me go to the first picture. So this is
Hmm.
cool.
That is some bulb.
so the bulb was actually a little bit misshapen. Let me see if I can. Oh, tell me. There we go. So it gives you a little bit of a wrong perspective in the dirt. It was very shallow, but it definitely had the ridge there.
Yeah, I think this is probably in the Lavengula group.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of Porphyria, but Porphyria is usually gray,
Yeah, gray or brown, dark brown. Yeah.
gray or brown. Yep. But I have found what I think is Porphyria, and with the really pale cap.
Yeah, I don't think we
Um,
have Porphyria in South Jersey. That's a northern thing. So,
yeah. It's I find it in sort of cooler places than where I live. Oh, actually, I found Porphyria not far from where I live,
Hmm.
with Scots pine.
I
But
think
yeah,
in
but
New
the
Jer-
Porphyria and the lavendulas, they're not all that far apart. I think they're all in some subgroup of Validae.
yeah, the only time I saw Porphyria was in PA, that place that's fairly close to you, Dave. It's that Austin Blakesley nature area.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was years ago, like maybe 14 years ago, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. This one it's built like Porphyria, but the colors, it doesn't look right.
Yeah, the color doesn't look right, and neither does the vulva on
On the
the cap.
base?
On the cap.
Oh, the deposit. Yeah, usually there's not deposit on the cap of Porphyria.
Or
I
if
don't
there is,
think
it's very dark gray, but this one has more purplish tinges to it. So I think this is probably or brownish. Yeah, this is like a classic look of Lavendula looking from above.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably one of the stirps they're trying to.
Yep,
Yeah, probably.
series map A.
Yeah, I think Porphyria is in series map A also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not that far apart really. But yeah, I'd go for a Lavendula group here also. It's a big one for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't been to Shark River in a couple days. I bet the amanitas are really popping out there right now.
I didn't do too much of a walk. It was getting pretty dark. Obviously, you can see I'm using flash in order to be able to get some light. But I just very simple. It was the going as if you're going towards the river's edge trail, but not getting to the river just yet. This is still on the main path, and I didn't go more than all of these mushrooms were all within like maybe 50 feet of each other.
Hmm.
So,
Is that all mycelium, like right around surrounding it in the leaf litter?
uh, I don't know if it was mycelium or just roots. There might be just some smaller plant roots around. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
think.
Bianca, you said you used a flash for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's probably a lot of reflection off of some things
I see.
uh, that's making them look a little different.
Got it.
I think those white threads look like fungal hyphae to me,
Yeah,
clusters. So they're not roots. I think they're fungal mycelia.
that's what
Oh,
I
you do think
thought.
so?
Yeah,
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that it belongs to this amanita. I think that's just
no,
stuff in the leaf litter.
right.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's true. These seem very much just like smaller roots. They don't seem to be fuzzy like I'm used to with most mycelium. I was trying to find another picture of the ground that's near there, but I don't see it's not really clear.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe not mycelium, but I heard somewhere it said that a cubic inch of soil has 8 miles of mycelium. So if it's real,
Amazing.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for me. Thank you for being stumped on my behalf. I'm just kidding.
Thank you
Slim
for
pickings,
sharing.
not much out there, huh?
Oh, there's been stuff around. Stuff
Well,
around here.
Bass River was underwhelming.
Really? I thought it was
Yeah.
pretty. I thought it was that was like not terrible.
No, I didn't say it was terrible. It was just underwhelming. I thought there'll be more stuff out, and we did find some interesting things in there. I have photographs. I haven't downloaded them from my camera onto the computer. I'll probably do it next time. I'll have something to present. But I think the highlight of the foray was that albatrellis thing that somebody brought in. Two small fruit bodies that I dried. But I think everything fit on one table there. We didn't have any spillovers onto other tables. We're able to fit everything, all the collections on one surface. But I only had like 15 people together. It was a small number of people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That place was covered in them pseuilus. You could have picked a million of them things.
Yeah, that was as well as the Sipiens, quite a few of it, which is a rarity. I mean, there was one big flush in 2013. They were everywhere, and then I haven't seen that particular species in any kind of quantity since then. So that was a lot of that, and a little bit of Hortellus, one collection of Brevipes, and plenty of Salmonicolor. So we had 4 or 5 swallow species. Didn't see any Weaverae, I think.
I forgot I had one more.
Oh.
This was actually quite unique to me because I'd never seen found a mushroom where the stipe was sticky, but the cap was not. So that's the top. It is a little bit dry, so it is wrinkled on the edges because of that. It's growing inside what looks like birch.
And birch is like dirt on the inside, though.
And
That
then
looks familiar. Can I put my finger on it?
this was unique about it too. The color change between the base and the top of it where it hits the gills. It does go from yellow, like you see in the picture, to the peach, to the purpley. And yeah, the stipe was like lightly sticky, but
I
the
wonder
cap
if
was
this
absolutely
is.
not.
Sorry to interrupt. I think this is probably something in the Hygropheraceae, judging by the
Mm,
current gills and the sticky stipe, or slimy, or viscid.
mhm, mhm.
But the edge of the gill is interesting. The way the gills attach themselves to the end of the cap cuticle on the edge. There are these projections in there.
Hmm.
I wonder if maybe because it's dry, it's doing that. I don't know if that's
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if the edge is drying, it becomes
yeah.
crimpled like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it is, one of the genera in the Hygropheraceae.
I was
Capophilus,
also
something like
Gliophorus,
that.
maybe.
Maybe Gliophorus, the Capophilus. Yeah.
looking at the link you sent me, Dave, and I guess the previous name to that yellow mushroom I had found was Hygrocybe marginata.
Yeah, it used to be Hygrocybe marginata.
Hygrocybe.
Hmm.
That's okay. I
Yeah.
I I was going to guess that it was a Hygrocybe, so I feel a little better that I wasn't completely out of tune. All right.
Yeah, Humidicutus is a split off of Hygrocybe.
Yeah, it was broken up into several things. It was polyphyletic, and they had to create a number of.
Gliophorus also. That used to be Hygrocybe as well.
Yeah.
I don't know how you keep tabs.
It's just one paper probably on all these things. I already forget who published it. Maybe Gene Lodge. Maybe somebody else.
Well, unless anybody else has anything to share, it's about 9. All right. Well,
That
that
was
was a
fun. Thank you so much.